Hello everyone, I am Alyan Fiverrwala and welcome to an enlightening conversation with Sir Michael, a true pioneer in the realm of cybersecurity, digital privacy, and entertainment. As the visionary owner and CEO of Dontgethacked.ca and a creative force and content.com, Sir Michael embodies a unique blend of technologies, expertise, and artist like join us we dive into Sir Michael journey insight and endeavors shaping saver and more innovative digital landscape for us all. Let's get started. So hello sir, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
All right. So sir, first of all, I am very thankful to you to giving me your time and coming in my show. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much. So before moving on a question, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Michael Duffy. I am the founder and CEO of Don't Get Hacked Cybersecurity. We're a global company. We're based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, as well as we have a new international office here in Dubai, UAE. I have many years of 20, 20 years of being a business owner with a bunch of technology companies, and about 2.5, 3 years being an award-winning podcast producer for mupoentertainment.com. So I've got lots of experience with technology support, and now a few years of experience with filming, editing, producing, and distributing podcast episodes for myself and other business owners who I'm trying to help get their message to be omnipresent. I'm trying to help other business owners become omnipresent by getting them, coaching them towards filming video every single day and then distributing that everywhere. So it's fun.
All right, that's wonderful. So my first question in your screen, what inspired you to become involved in cybersecurity, digital privacy advocacy?
What inspired me to become involved in cybersecurity and digital privacy is I've been helping entrepreneurs and business owners troubleshoot their technology since 2005. So we're almost 20. That was professionally for almost 20 years, and before that, many years as a when I was a teenager, and then when I was in university, and then in the professional field. So my whole life, I've been helping people troubleshoot technology, and at the end of the day, I know the most common problems is not knowing where your data is, not knowing where your data backups are, and definitely not having strong enough passwords. That's the biggest. I feel a lot of people struggle with technology, and it doesn't even matter what age they are. It could be 20 year olds, 30, like all ages struggle with passwords. And that's why, you know, generally when people have problems with their technology, it comes down to they've locked themselves out of an account because they changed the password and didn't write it down, and then they don't know where their files are. Most common tech issues are passwords and file management.
All right, sir. Sorry. Okay. So what
No
inspired you
worries.
to become in? So what inspired you to become involved cybersecurity and data privacy advocacy? Sorry. It's repeat.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay.
So
That's okay. Um,
could you tell us
a
about
recent
recent cybersecurity threat that you find particularly concerning?
okay, recent cybersecurity threats. What we're finding right now is that I think it's really that people get a lot of spam or phishing attacks through email, and I know that both Microsoft and Google have really upped their security levels recently, and most small businesses send out. They have email set up through Microsoft Office 365 and G Suite, but they've not set up their email security properly. So they're having a lot of problem right now sending emails out, and it's just due to lack of knowledge most of the time. I've had about probably half a dozen requests in the last week where people have been not able to send emails or something, and it all has to do with Office 365 or G Suite and them increasing security requirements for sending and receiving email. And unfortunately, business owners most of the time, they may not have somebody who set up their email properly, and it's easy for me to discuss to figure out what the problem is, because I'll get an email request or text message request saying, hey, we have this problem, and I just have to look up their domain, so their .com or .ca or whatever their domain is, and I know that if their email accounts with Office 365 or Google haven't been set up properly with DKIM and SPF, there's all these email security settings that need to be set up, but you can use the email without having those set up, but eventually you're going to run into a bunch of problems. And it's also a huge security risk because the hackers know if you don't have your email security and your DNS record set up properly, you're a very easy target for the hackers. So again, it just comes down to me solving problems for people and then telling them, okay, you had this issue in 2024 because your email accounts weren't set up properly a year ago or 4 years ago, and now it's time, being 2024, to increase all their security, but also their awareness of all the changes that they may not know that Microsoft and Google are implementing. So at the end of the day, you solve a problem and then you educate the customer on how you fixed it and how they should be more open to learning all this stuff in the future, or just hire us on a monthly contract and then we'll notify them when there's all these changes that are about to happen. So
All right, wonderful, sir. So, how do you stay updated on the latest trend and development in cybersecurity?
how do I stay up to date? I watch a lot, all of us are on social media. So I have vendors who send me emails with the newest stuff, and then I'm part of so many Facebook groups where people point out emerging trends. And then I'm here in Dubai and everybody's talking about AI. So I leverage other people's knowledge, because since I'm running a company, there's other technology experts out there who they want to understand the newest threats and all the newest security information right away. So I just read their blogs, I just read their videos, I go watch their YouTube channels, and I'm like, okay, good to know. I don't need to know all the details, I just need to know that somebody else is looking after the details and summarizing it in a YouTube video or an infographic or whatever. I'm utilizing the IT security world out there. I'll let them do the unless there's something really critical that I need to know today, I'll let somebody else read all the details and then give me some footnote pointers.
All right, wonderful. So, as a show producer, how do you integrate technology into your content creation process?
Awesome question. So as a show producer, I use technology all the time. When I'm writing, when I'm writing script, when I'm writing scripts, or I do master classes all the time, whether they're in person or Zoom calls or whatever. So I utilize that. A couple years ago, if we had a speech that we needed to do, whether it was recorded or in person, you had to write the whole script yourself. And sometimes you're going to get writer's block. It happens. So it doesn't matter if you're a young, teenager, old person, you're going to have writer's block. You know what you want to talk about, but I'm not somebody who can just wing it. I kind of need some structure. I need some bullet points so I, can time myself out appropriately and cover all the important points I want to cover. So AI, ChatGPT, whatever we're using these days, not to plagiarize it, but of course you can have the AI tools write you scripts or just come up with words and then use a thesaurus and change everything out, because of course at the end of the day, whatever you're talking about, you want it to be in words that you would use, or maybe a little bit lower, like a 10th grade level. I write a lot of stuff in the 10th grade level because I want technology to be technology training and my advice to be accessible to everybody. So I don't need to use big, I want to use I want to explain technology, but I want to explain it like at a lower level than what I might be operating at. But of course, I have to deal with all levels of technology users. So sometimes I'm dealing with, investors and bankers and crypto traders and all these high-end professionals who use a lot of big keywords, but I know what they're talking about. But I also need to write podcast episodes about Bitcoin and crypto and all that type of stuff. And in season 1 of my podcast, Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help, each one of those episodes, 30-minute episode, it took me a week to write it, to practice the script, to make sure it was factually correct, to edit, produce it. So, an interview show like this, I will generate some interview questions. I change the interview questions up, interview to interview, because not every business owner wants us to answer the same questions. But of course, so I'll change the interview questions and just have them auto-generated based on the industry that they're in. But when I'm writing the script for the technology show, you need a lot of words to fill up a 30-minute episode, and auto-generate that stuff, auto-generate like the script, and then change it up and change it up again, and then research what, I want to know how hackers can exploit certain technologies. So of course I'm doing a lot of research on, okay, can a hacker do this or this? Because at the end of the day, I may not know all the different ways a hacker can break into a system, but I want to educate myself and yourself on all the potential ways. So that way in the future, I'm aware of, okay, there's so many different ways for bad guys to get in. So I'm using AI to write scripts. We're using video editing software to edit videos. I need a faster way to edit videos. So if anybody has suggestions on that, because I've used a little bit of AI to chop up YouTube videos, but it's not perfect. We're always testing out new stuff just to see if we can streamline the production a little bit quicker and make it, but we're always open to new ideas. Some technology takes way longer to do a certain task than if you were to do it yourself. So you kind of have to say, okay, it's close, but it's not quite ready for me to implement it in my workflow process. But maybe in 2 months, it'll be perfect. And that's technology, right? You just play with it and you see if you can do something like this interview. Normally my podcast interviews, when I was doing them in Canada, I was using fancy DSLR cameras, but I've been using a 4K Logitech camera, and I think this camera is pretty close to the quality that my DSLR was able to output for StreamYard. So
Technology and entertainment, and how do you overcome them?
what challenges do I face with merging technology and entertainment? Well, at the end of the day, I'm a troubleshooter. So there's some stuff's not ready to be used. Like there's all this cool technology, and sometimes it's not quite ready. But to really answer that question, with producing my show, no matter, I think I've switched laptops 4 times in the last 14 months. So I was using a MacBook, and then I went to a different MacBook, and then I went to a gaming laptop, and then I've ended up here on this Asus gaming laptop I currently have. I think our host has left the building, but that's okay. And I think we're always just testing new ways of like what's the best way to record. So I've changed webcam for the laptop. You know, we have a mix of iPhones and Android phone, brand new iPhones and brand new Android phones for content when we're out and about, taking photos and video. I've recently added in the, I don't have them with me, but the Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses, because those are super interesting to use when you don't want to be holding up a phone to take a video. If you just want to be taking a bit, you know, incognito video of a certain picture, or in the backseat of an Uber, it's so much easier to just use the smart glasses rather than holding this thing up. And at the end of the day, technology is not going to be perfect, so you just got to keep buying new stuff and testing it out and seeing how well it works with your workflow. You're back.
Yes, sir. And sorry for disconnect.
That's okay.
So, sir, how do you? Thank you. So, how do you define authenticate leadership, and how do you embody it in your work?
Authentic leadership, being honest, open, and transparent at all times, and telling people I know a lot of stuff about business and technology and leadership. I've got many books. I have this huge Audible library, but at the end of the day, I may not have the best answer for you, the most efficient process, or know all the answers. Like right now, I'm living in a foreign country, so I know how I go through my normal day-to-day processes, 8 to 5, customer service, follow up on tasks, et cetera, et cetera. But in Canada, I was used to driving myself around all the time, and now I'm relying on Uber drivers to get me around. Traffic's different. Um, Meetings run a little bit differently here. Everything in Dubai is kind of more laid back than it was in Canada. So stuff here kind of runs 5, 10, 15 minutes late. So it's just showing up on time. Number one rule of success is always showing up. So if you tell somebody you're going to show up, unless you're sick or late, you'd still notify them something happened. And if you need to reschedule, you need to reschedule. But authenticity is realistically just being open and transparent, because people can tell if you're hiding the truth or lying about something. If somebody asks me, well, this doesn't seem correct, and I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't seem correct? Can you clarify what you think I'm wrong about or what I'm hiding? And then I will explain, because sometimes with technology, people think it should be fixed quicker than you can fix it. And then you're like, okay, I spent an hour doing this, and I spent 2 hours doing this. And I had that recently. A customer's like, oh, well, this task took you 3 hours, but last time you billed me for one. And I'm like, I kind of keep records like a lawyer. I'm like, okay, you texted me this time and this time and this time and this time and this time. So all this communication back and forth takes time. And me sending you screenshots of my process, I sent you all the screenshots of the progress and the time, you know, and then they usually have no rebuttal at that point, because you're proving why it took you longer than the last task, and then why my bill was for 3 hours versus 1 hour. At the end of the day, I can't lie. I run a business. If I lie, people are going to find out that I'm lying. So I have to be honest, ethical, trustworthy, and tell you if I can fix your problem, or if I have to find another computer company or cybersecurity expert that has more knowledge than me, and then we're going to reach out to them. Your host has gone offline again. Okay, can you share any specific examples of how technology has positively impacted the community in Calgary? I think right now there's lots of apps, which is good, because apps on your mobile device provide a sense of, you know, there's a lot of new technologies are out like buy sell apps, community meetup apps. There's just all these, I know not everybody's happy with mobile devices, but these have a lower cost of entry into the marketplace, and you can buy and sell stuff. You can do meetups with these things, photo sharing, Google reviews, all this stuff just from, this is obviously iPhone, but you don't need an iPhone 14. There's a lot of mobile devices that you can get where allow you to be connected without having to plug a laptop around. And there's augmented reality stuff. There's all this cool stuff now in 2024 that is doable and helps positively impact communities. I know here in Dubai, like everything is done off a mobile device. It's pretty amazing. You just have to make sure you carry around a battery pack and a charger for your phone, because the phone's going to die 2 or 3 times a day. And I'm able to actually do remote support. So if I have customers on PC or Mac or Linux who need remote support, I can actually remote into the computer from this device in the back, of course, in the back of an Uber. When I'm out camping in the mountains, I don't always have to use my laptop. I can do a lot of tech support from my phone. The keyboard's a little bit smaller. You can have to pinch in and manipulate the screen a little bit, but very, very useful. Let's see if the host comes back. I'm sitting out here in the patio in Dubai. So let me see if I can show you the lights a little bit. That's the pool right there.
Do you believe education play ensuring a safer digital future?
Okay. What role do you believe education plays in ensuring a safer digital future? Password security. Everybody knows how to make strong, secure passwords that they can remember without having to rely on using a digital password manager. At the end of the day, you're going to be using whatever website, whatever apps. There's so many educational websites these days. Everything requires a username and password, not reusing passwords. Minimum password, you should be using 16 characters, because at that point the password is you can't brute force it, and AI can't guess it right now. But 16 characters sounds really complicated, but all that is really a sentence of 4 to 7 words. So a unique phrase for each website or app that you're using, and just getting into, because you're going to remember a sentence even no matter what. Like my daughter's 11, like she can remember a sentence password for each website rather than trying to figure out a complicated password of uppercase and lowercase or special characters. So I think that's really just embracing the fact that everything uses a password, and a lot of people have a lot of negative energy towards passwords. And I'm like, let's take that negative energy and flip it into positive statements, and think positive every time you have to make a new password, and just make a positive phrase for every website that you're using. And that way you can remember everything, and they're like positive affirmations for passwords. So really, I think that's really the key for safety and security. You may not have any data that's important to back up, but everybody has a username, email address, and a password for every website or device or app that they're using. And nobody likes forgetting their passwords, and it's really easy to forget them if you change them and you haven't written them down anywhere. And you get, I'm just used to people getting locked out of password managers all the time, and it's unfortunate, but I think everybody's been trained how to do passwords wrong over the last 30 years. And I think we can, I've already made an offline password manager, and I've got season 1, episode 9 of my Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help show podcast is all about doing a minimum yearly audit of all your passwords, and then resetting them, and then recording new passwords. And I've got a sheet for helping people do that. So I think that's really the thing. Passwords. Strong, secure passwords you can remember. No, my host is going offline again. So I'll have to make sure the hosts are sending the questions ahead of time, because I could just talk for hours, but I don't have the questions. Take a selfie. I don't want to hang up. The last 2 students have had internet problems. That's too unfortunate. But it's beautiful outside. I don't know what temperature it is here. Let's see, what's the temperature in Dubai? I know it's minus cold at home. It's like minus 10, minus 14 back in Canada.
Sorry, sir, again for lost connection. I am sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. So, sir, thank you so much for sharing your invaluable wisdom and experience with us today. Your vision, dedication, and innovative aspire truly inspired us all. Thank you for sharing your experience and sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much, sir.